It was a cold winter night 2 decades ago today, when police contingents in the forest were searching for the last bus of the night, running on route number 375. The bus didn't reach the depot for 2 days, due to which the bus owner, along with the families of the driver and the conductor, were quite worried. The driver's wife was repeatedly accusing that the lady conductor must have disappeared somewhere with her husband. She was suspecting that her driver husband was having an affair with the lady conductor of his own bus. On the other hand, ignoring all this nonsense, the lady conductor's family was worried whether they were fine or not. The police could think of only one solution to this problem: to find that bus so that everything gets all right. Therefore, they all started investigating in the forest, which was close to the place from where the bus had disappeared. The cold night was at its peak, and thick mist was spreading everywhere in the forest. All the people in the jungle were calling that bus driver and the conductor. Constable Sohan also went far ahead of his team while searching for the driver. Then, as soon as he moved forward, his entire body trembled, and he started breathing heavily out of fear. Then, he noticed that his mobile phone was vibrating due to the call. He picked up the call as soon as he saw it was from his home.
Dad, when will you reach home? It's my birthday today, and you're again late.
I'm just leaving in a while, my princess.
Sohan had hardly said this when suddenly he felt that someone ran fast from behind him. As soon as Sohan put forward his foot to see him, he started slipping and went straight down. Sohan's loud voice reached Officer Kabir's ear, who was leading this patrol, and he shouted to everyone,
"All carefully move towards Sohan's voice. Looks like something has happened."
On hearing Kabir's order, everyone got so careful that the silence in the forest increased even more. Some had a pistol in their hand while others had a stick, and all of them crossed the slope to reach Sohan. His entire body went across a branch of a fallen tree. Before Kabir could ask him anything, Sohan pointed his finger towards another direction and died. Then Kabir's attention was caught by the mobile lying there, on which someone's voice was coming continuously.
Dad, why don't you say anything? Why are you so silent? Gone. You're coming, right? All my friends are waiting. When will you come, Dad?
Kabir was heartbroken after hearing the voice of Sohan's little girl on the call. He could not understand how to tell that girl that now her father will never come home. It was very difficult for Kabir to say anything, but he gathered his courage and said,
"Child, right now your dad is busy with some really important work. You cut the cake. Dad will come home."
Okay, Uncle, but please send my dad soon. I'm waiting for his gift.
After saying this, Sohan's daughter disconnects the call, and Kabir angrily says,
"Leave the bus and look around carefully. Who was that person who left Sohan in this condition?"
Kabir had hardly said this when suddenly a constable from his team fell on his face as if someone had pulled his leg from behind and was dragging him through the bushes to take him somewhere else. Kabir, along with everyone else, started running behind him to save him. But he went across and collided with something big. This made such a loud noise even in the night that a flock of birds and a colony of bats started hurling over their heads. But they were not able to see anything in the pitch darkness. However, they could understand that now they were not in the midst of a dense forest, but rather in an open place, because there was mist all around them, and the cold winds had become even stronger. Everybody was sweating even on such a cold night out of fear. But Kabir didn't stop and went ahead and said,
Who is it? Who is there? Why don't you come forward?
As soon as Kabir said this, a reddish-yellow light appeared across the mist in front of him. As soon as he saw the light, Kabir took out his pistol and started moving forward very carefully. As soon as he crossed the mist, Kabir's eyes fell directly on the constable, whom someone had pulled across the bushes. Then he noticed that the constable was unconscious while resting on a bus. And all of a sudden, that red-yellow light was flashing from the front and rear lights of the bus. On matching the number, it was found that this is the bus they were looking for, that last bus of route number 375. Kabir gestures to the rest of the people with him to check whether there is anyone around or not, and himself goes inside the bus. Kabir started vomiting as soon as he entered the bus. Then, while handling himself, he called the headquarters and said,
We found the bus.
And there are 3 other dead bodies, with the driver, conductor, in very bad condition. On hearing the words, 3 more bodies, the constable standing next to Kabir was shocked and said,
That means the old woman was telling the truth.
Which old woman? Tell me the whole thing.
As soon as Kabir asked, the constable told the entire story of that night from the very beginning, when this last bus of route number 375 had left for its journey. Since this was the last bus, it used to leave late at night, and there were only a few passengers in it. Besides the driver and the conductor, there was a couple, an old woman and a young man sitting in front of her. The bus was speeding on a deserted road in the dark night. Bus was just going fast. Everyone was sitting silently in the bus. And the old woman looked a bit frightened. And the guy sitting in front of her was listening to music using his earphones with his head resting on the seat. Taking advantage of the darkness, the couple sitting in the front were lost in each other. After some time, the bus driver hit the brakes, due to which both of them came even closer, and they also realized that they'd reached their destination, and they got off the bus. The bus went ahead, but some distance further, the driver saw 3 people on the side of the road. The driver stopped the bus near them, and before he could say anything, they all got into the bus. A man, a petite woman, and a boy along with her, who must have been around 12 to 13 years old. They all went and sat behind. The old woman started panicking after seeing them, as these 3 looked quite strange. All 3 had hats on their heads. They wore black glasses in the dark night and heavy overcoats. Frightened by them, the old woman got up and went to the lady conductor and whispered in her ear,
These guys look a bit suspicious. Don't you think so?
The lady conductor explained to that old woman,
I don't feel anything like that. Maybe they work in some theater company, and see how calmly they are sitting here.
The old woman starts murmuring after listening to her, comes to her seat, and starts shouting loudly.
My purse got stolen. My purse got stolen.
The conductor also comes there after hearing her voice, but she is also not able to find the purse. Then, the old woman blames the 3 men sitting in the front for stealing her purse. None was able to understand how someone could steal the purse while sitting in front of the bus, but the old woman insisted on going to the police station. So, the driver dropped them off at the next stop and told them that the police station was a little ahead, and the bus left.
Oh no, grandmother. This was the last bus and you made us leave it. And I didn't steal any purse of yours.
I know this. I got you out of the bus so that you can stay alive. You might not have looked carefully, but I saw that those 3 people who got into the bus were not humans, but demons. Because they had no feet.
That old woman's words looked quite fabricated to the young boy, and he started arguing with her. Suddenly, Sohan and a constable arrived there while patrolling, and stopped the argument between them, and then heard their entire story. They also considered the old woman's story a bit nonsensical. So he told the constable to drop her at home and took the boy along with him in his car to drop him at his house. And today, that bus was found after many days on the bank of this river across the forest. But no one could understand how this bus reached here. Slowly, the sun was set to rise after the darkness of the night. The rest of the team had also reached here. Then, everyone was shocked to know what the forensics team told them. They said that the corpse of the bus driver and the conductor is hardly a few days old. But the way the rest of the 3 bodies are decomposing, it looks like they're almost 2 years old, while their legs are cut. After hearing all this, Kabir moved away from the banks of the river and walked towards the forest. Then, showing a picture on his cell phone, he asked the constable,
Is this that old woman?
Yes, sir. This is that old woman.
Oh dude, this is...
Kabir goes towards the forest while saying this. Everything seems blurry to him. And the forest starts roaming in circles, and a voice is echoed in his ears.
I look like a mad old woman to you. The one who used to come to ask you for justice for my blind son, daughter-in-law, and grandson. But what you could have done, your system trusts on paper, and the dead bodies of my children were not even found. But today, along with the dead bodies of my children, I'm also handing over the bodies of their culprits to you. You can write it in your paper.
As soon as this voice stopped, Kabir's ears were filled with the voices of all those memories, which were told to him by that old woman. Almost 2 years back, that old woman's children got on this bus to travel. Sohan was also on the bus that night. In order to satisfy his lust, he shook hands with the driver and first killed the husband. Then he did the shameful deed with the woman, and they even killed their child after he came back with the lady conductor. Sohan even threatened the conductor in order to shut her mouth and hid the dead bodies in a way that no one could find. The old woman managed to listen to the entire incident that happened with her children on the phone, but she couldn't get them justice as their bodies were not found, and she died while going to the police station again and again. Kabir fell in the forest while thinking, if he listened to that old woman, then today he would have stopped all this from happening. Then, while thinking about all this, his eyes closed completely.